Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to build a simple modular TNT cobblestone generator. For some weird reason I've always loved TNT cobblestone generators. They are just so satisfying to look at. But they were always kinda beyond or way beyond my capabilities. If you wanna know what I mean by that exactly, you should check out the video by Cubicmetre in the description. So I set out to design a cobblestone generator that is easy to build and gives you a decent amount of cobble at the same time. Now, I've built this in Bedrock Edition and I didn't know at the time that Bedrock Edition only drops about 1/3 of the blocks you blast. So it only gives you about 17 to 22 blocks of cobblestone per TNT blast. Still, if you really hate mining, it's a pretty good deal if you ask me. When designing this blaster I was inspired by the video of Techman88 to experiment with different block formations to blast TNT in. I've put a link in the description to his video. Basically his point is, if you blast TNT in a hollow space, it gives you much more blocks than when you put it in a tight space. I'm going to show you an example of this. Now, I've put a couple of different cubes down here, some of which are hollow and some of which are solid. Now let's see what happens if I ignite one block of TNT within them. In the end I decided to go with a 7x7 cube minus the corners, because that's a really easy formation to create with a cobble generator. It's basically just 4 walls. Now you can also make it a bit more complicated by adding a roof. You may remember me talking about a modular cobblestone generator in the introduction. Basically the main cobble generator creates the 4 walls, and if you want a bit more cobble you can also build 1 or 2 modules with shove-in stone from the side. Now let's get started. In survival we'll build it 14 blocks from the ground, and since I'm in a super flat world I'm going to build it in the sky, 30 blocks high. Create a 7x7 ring of temporary blocks. Place pistons underneath them and break the blocks in the corners. Create 2 rows of blocks on the underside of the pistons. Fill in the second row. Place staircases on all 4 sides of the contraption. Then encase the stairs with blocks. Fill the staircases with water. Go to the top and place a 3x3 ring in the middle and break the center block. This is the hole your TNT drops through later. Fill in the sides with lava and cover them with glass. Remove the temporary blocks above the pistons and place redstone all the way around. Now we need a redstone clock to periodically send a signal to the pistons. Create a small platform on one of the corners and place a repeater clock on the side like this. We'll use 5 repeaters, each on 4 ticks, which corresponds to 20 redstone ticks or 40 in-game ticks. Place a sticky piston in one of the corners with a block on top and a lever next to it. This acts as a circuit breaker. And finally, place a block next to the circuit and an observer facing away from it. Place a lever in front of the observer. When the lever is placed or pulled, the observer sends a very short pulse into the circuit, and the pistons will push the cobble downwards. The cobble generator is now completed. Next, we are going to build TNT dispenser. Place 8 blocks on the ring in the middle of the cobble generator. These blocks can be either glass or stone. If you use glass, you can see the TNT fall from the dispenser. Place 2 more blocks and then a dispenser facing downwards on the last block. If you don't have enough space, remove a couple of blocks and replace them later. Place 3 blocks next to the dispenser. These can also be glass blocks. Now we're going to create a repeater clock for the TNT dispenser. Every time 4 layers of stone are created, we want 1 TNT to be dispensed. This also means we need 4 times as much repeaters as in a small clock. First, create a 7x7 ring around the dispenser. Then, place 5 repeaters on each side and set them all to 4 ticks. Just like with a small clock, create a circuit breaker with a sticky piston. Create a staircase from blocks to connect the clock to the observer. Your TNT dispenser is now complete. A word of warning though, if you want to start blasting, make sure you make a backup of your world first. So if something goes wrong with the TNT, you can always reload your world. Now we're going to build a water collector. First, place 1 block obsidian in the middle of your stone walls. TNT will land on this block and blast the stone away. Then place 2 temporary blocks on the 2 sides next to each other. On the other 2 sides, place 1 block. Now build a 10x10 ring around it. Then destroy the temporary blocks. Build a total of 3 rows and then build a floor underneath them. When the floor is finished, place a water source in each corner. Then remove the 4 blocks in the middle. The blasted stone flows towards here, where it can be collected. Create a small tunnel under the floor and place 4 hoppers facing into a chest. If you want, you can also place some glass blocks above the chest. So, now it's time for blasting. And remember, make a backup of your world first. The blast chamber gives you about 18 blocks per blast. If you want a bit more stone, you can create these modules on the side. They give you about 15 to 20% more stone. The difference between 1 or 2 modules is usually less than 5%. As you can see here, the modules create a roof on the 4 walls, with a hole in the middle for the TNT to fall through. Make sure to create some extra blocks to guide the TNT, because sometimes it won't fall through the hole. The modules should be built 2 blocks up from the water collector and 2 blocks away from the stone wall. The middle of the module follows the middle of the wall. It's a 3x3x9 area. Place 4 pistons facing inwards and a staircase between them. Fill the staircase in the corners with water. Place a row of blocks above the pistons and 1 above each water source in the corner. Also, place a block in the middle. Then, place 2 buckets of lava. Connect the pistons with redstone. For the clock I used an Etho hopper clock combined with an observer to give a very short pulse to the pistons. This is necessary, because otherwise the generator won't work properly. The clock consists of 2 hoppers facing into each other, a comparator next to both of them, 2 blocks, 2 pieces of redstone and 2 sticky pistons with a redstone block between them. Now the cool part about this clock, you can set the timing depending on how much items you put in the hopper. For this clock, we're going to put in 4 items. If you want more information about the Etho hopper clock, put a link in the description to the original video about it. Now that everything is connected, your blaster is final and complete. I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching.